Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Proving that longevity can be confused for greatness. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcasts from. On today's show, we discuss eating foods past their expiration date, what happens when you give kids supplements, and a terrifying event of being surrounded by critters. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who wants someone to tell him his mustache offends him. It's Dick. I drive on one-lane roads all the time. Schisler.
One-lane roads.
One-lane roads, offensive mustaches.
Yeah.
Dude, we got it in.
Rough.
We got the show
Yeah,
in. I'm so excited, man. I'm glad we could do this.
Yeah.
I thought there was a chance we would miss this episode, but our dedication, we're proving it true to the onesies, man.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I had no idea where you were, and I thought you were there on Thursday when we were supposed to bowl, and you weren't there. And then, I had this weird memory of you saying you weren't going to be here for a long time because that's why we had to record, but I didn't
Yeah.
apply it to this week. And then when I was telling you about no taps, I was doing this. You're like, oh, I can't, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, aren't you gone? And you're like, no, I'm back. I'm like, when did you leave? Have you even left yet? I was so confused.
Yeah, I was gone all week, man.
I had no idea.
That's why we dropped in that show last
week. And
week.
then when you said you were here today, I was like, wait, has he left yet? I'm so confused because you usually are gone for a long time. It's not just 1 day or 2 days.
Yeah,
It's
maybe 4 days at a time.
Yeah, I guess. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
But I'm glad we got this
But
one
you're
in.
literally leaving
Tomorrow, yeah.
tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Again.
How are you getting there? You flying?
I am flying, yes. Once again.
First class?
No, it's probably just good old coach. It's about all I can afford these
Yeah.
days. Yeah. Hey, man, almost Halloween. I think,
Is it in a week?
yeah, almost. We've got, I think we'll have no, this will be our last
It's
show
it's
of
next.
October. Yeah, it's next
Yeah.
Thursday or 2 Thursdays from now.
Yeah.
But this is our last show in October, so I feel like this is our Halloween episode. But I feel like Halloween is one of those holidays, if you can call it that, where you really can't say Happy Halloween until the day of, or really, really close to.
Yeah.
Because with Christmas, people start saying Merry Christmas
No, you can if you do a trick.
right after Thanksgiving, but you don't do that with Halloween.
If you pull a prank leading up, you can say Happy Halloween. I got
Can
you.
you?
Good. Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah. When you
I don't
torch that
think so,
poop
man.
on the front porch, you can just in there screw you kids. You'd be like Happy Halloween.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be really weird if you said Happy Halloween on September 29th. People look at
Well,
you a
yeah,
little
but
strange.
all of October you could say it.
Okay.
If
think?
you do scare pranks, you could be like Happy Halloween.
I don't think so, man.
I think you can. I totally think you can.
Okay, so let's make up a new AOO edict. You can say Happy Halloween starting October 1st? Okay. All right.
October 1st.
That's what I said, October 1st.
I think it's the 31st.
No, 1st. Okay, that's. I tend to think it needs to be a little closer, but I'll let it slide this time.
There's not really another holiday besides, was it the Native American holiday, whatever it's called. What do they call it these days?
Thanksgiving?
No. There's instead of Columbus Day,
It's called
something.
gosh.
I think it depends on where you are in the country.
what is that called? It's
I can't pronounce it. It starts with
Indigenous Peoples Day or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but again, Happy Halloween. You can say it during that.
Okay.
No one says Happy.
How about Valentine's Day? You gonna say that a month out? Probably not. Or do you ever even wish anybody a happy Valentine's Day?
Well, because Valentine's has the day in it. Halloween doesn't have Halloween Day.
Yeah, but I guess you don't do that with
It's kind of like Merry
Thanksgiving. It's not
Christmas.
Thanksgiving Day. Well, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So Merry Christmas, you can say Merry Christmas all December.
So if it has the word day in it, you can only say it the day of.
Look at we're geniuses.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're breaking ground.
Well, what's weird to me about this is you love
Happy
Halloween more than
Easter.
I've ever met anybody.
I don't know
And
that
you limited
that's
yourself.
true.
Well, look at your house.
Yeah, look at it.
So, yeah. And I'm thinking, why would he limit himself to one day to say, his favorite word?
This is true. You're right. But I didn't say 1 day. I said about a week. I just feel like it'd be weird if on October 10th, be like, hey, man, happy Halloween. People look at you like,
Yeah.
what?
Especially after you slash someone's tires. Happy
You're
Halloween,
all about
got
the
your
tricks.
kids.
You're all
Well,
about
it's
that.
literally why they call it trick or treat.
I guess. No one ever does the trick. It's always the treat. It should be
Yeah.
treat or treat. That's all the kids
Yeah.
want. That's all they want.
That's why I always put the trash cans in the middle of the road during Halloween for tricking people. When you're a kid,
Okay.
you put the duct tape upside down. You never did any of that kind of stuff, like the mild vandalism. You didn't do any of that. It's like when you run over the duct tape, it sounds like a flat tire. It's like
Okay.
dong, dong, dong,
I just
dong,
don't know what
dong.
that has to do with trash cans, but I'm like,
Well, no, you do roadblocks.
Oh, okay. All right.
So like what you would do is you set up a roadblock with the trash can, and then you like couple probably like 30 yards down, you do the duct tape, because after the guy moves the trash cans, he's pissed and he like speeds, and then he hits the tape, and then he's like, oh gosh darn it, like I got a flat tire because I was recklessly driving. And then you're like, what's great about it is you have one vantage point. You're watching this whole thing, like, look at this guy.
There's like a gleam in your eyes. You're telling this story right now. So happy with yourself.
Well, I mean, I like to have fun when I was really young, and like I was one of those kids. That would
Really
do
young
stupid-
last year.
I would definitely do it. I
I'm
would
sure.
definitely do it.
Okay. No, I did not know what you were referring to. Okay, trash can, roadblock, duct tape on the tires. Check. All right.
Well, because you know how people get pissed off really easily when they're like driving home, and it's like, oh, there's a trash can upside down, or like laying down in the middle of the road.
All the time, man.
And then so like they get out and like, oh, they don't think it's kids. They don't
Okay.
think it's like a harmless prank, right? And then they speed, and you have the duct tape, and that's when you really get them because they think, oh, this is my night. Bad luck.
Has your Caitlin Clark jersey come in yet for Halloween?
Halloween. I think that'd be pretty good.
What's great about it is really minimal effort on your part. Really, just
yeah.
putting the jersey on and complete. Maybe you need to get some basketball shoes.
Well,
but-
I was
shorts,
I was thinking about that. Well, no, you have to go the full kit. You got to do the full kit. You got to do
what's
like
okay? What is the full Caitlin Clark kit?
Just look her up on the internet and see what shoes and socks she wears. And
Okay, so it's just a jersey and shorts and some
Yeah.
basketball shoes. Okay, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else.
well, they call it like a kit. You know, like in sports, like you wear the full kit.
I think it's
think
called a
it's
uniform.
Well,
But okay.
I think in England it's called a kit
Oh, this is America.
for soccer, and that's why.
Really, a kit?
Well, like because you know when you see soccer fans wear just the soccer jersey, that's normal. But some people wear the full kit when they go to the games. Like they'll even do the socks.
Wow.
And so they call them full kit wankers. And I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed that term. And
Full kit wanker.
yeah.
Does it only apply for soccer though?
Well, I mean, like,
because I feel like hockey players at a hockey game
I guess it really
would be
depends
awfully
on.
wanker-esque if they.
Well, I feel
full
like it's the
kit.
equipment manager what they call them. Because I mean, the equipment manager calls it a kit. Like you gotta get the kit together.
Okay.
So if you call it a uniform for like a basketball, I don't really know. Because like a uniform could literally just be the shoe, like the shirt and pants, but like a kit is everything, like shoes, socks,
Okay, all the way down to
shin
like
pads, and
all the way down like the headband, huh?
like everything they wear. Everything
Wait, speaking of headband, when's the last time you saw a guy wearing a headband?
I wore mine like this morning.
Are you headband guy?
Well, when I'm working outside,
Oh man, I would love
I
to see you in a
want-
headband.
well, to be honest, I have like the thin ones.
Not like a bandana. I'm talking about like the actual ones that you would get that say like McGregor on
But
them or something.
they wear out so fast.
Do they now?
Yeah, so bandanas are the way I go.
Yeah, I can.
Most of the
Yeah,
time.
I've seen you in bandanas. We know you're a bandana guy, but I would love to see you in a full-on like 1982 sports style headband. I just don't see very many of them anymore. I think it's a good look. I'm glad to know
Well,
that you're
speaking of-
fighting to bring that look back.
Speaking of sports, I always wondered if people who wore glasses didn't opt to wear the sports glasses.
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
man, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Well,
great.
because like I've never worn glasses, and I always have this weird thought of like
Humble brag.
everyone has different sizes, right? I feel like
What are we talking about?
Glasses.
Okay.
I would feel like if I wore glasses, I would want the biggest ones because you want to be able to see like everything.
Yeah,
right?
you and Jeffrey Dahmer.
But when I have my friends who have like the small ones,
Harry Potter.
and I don't really get it, and I'm like, how can you like? So what happens with that little outlier? Is it blurry for you? Like, how does
Yeah,
that
it
work?
seems like you can overshoot those glasses pretty easy, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, you don't really see 100%. That would bug the
I
crap
had some.
out of me.
I had some little small circle glasses like
And
that back
so
in the
the
early 2000s.
Kareem glasses to me made sense. It's like that's what I would wear if I was blind.
That
Like,
way, when you're darting your eyes around at
Like-
people, you got full vision
Yeah.
everywhere, baby.
Yeah, man.
That's called court vision.
I always wondered though, and I'm probably gonna have to wear glasses in the next 5 years, you know, and then then I'll probably figure it out because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't understand why these people have these small ass glasses. And
I don't know, man. I don't get it either.
Like that would
Or
bug
just like,
me.
put them at the end of your nose. I had to go shopping the other day for a shirt. It was one of these occasions where I was going to need the shirt just to wear one time. So I didn't. It was kind of like a throwaway thing. So I didn't want to go anywhere fancy. So I went to Target to buy this
You
shirt.
mean like a button down?
No, it was just a pullover shirt. And although I did find something at a nice, reasonable price there at Target, I will
Did you
admit
bring
that.
it? Did you bring it?
No, I did not. I did think it was kind of an odd thing, though, to shop for clothes in the same place where you buy food. You know, it's one of these super Targets. Because it's kind of weird to look down and see like a packet of T-shirts, but then look down the aisle and see like Captain Crunch at the same time. It's a weird dichotomy. I don't know,
How
man.
does
I
that
think
weird
these
you
two things.
out?
I think these two. I don't know. Just made me feel a little strange.
Clearly, you haven't lived in a rural area.
Now, well, I know that you're a Walmart guy, and that's where you get your jeans. So for you, it's probably pretty normal. This is a good, normal experience to.
Well, like the Kroger out in Willis, and they have like a full-on like store of clothes.
It's just,
kinda
it's just
kinda
maybe
crazy.
you know what? Maybe it's just ultra convenient, and we're living in the best times of modern world, right?
Well, I mean, especially like Target. I don't.
Best time in history, man.
Well, I think Target's in a weird spot
'Kay.
because it's like their main competitor is
so?
all online.
Oh, Amazon.
Well, yeah, because like that's why they have to do the grocery store at Target because there's no reason to go to Target. I can just get it online.
Well, unless you just want to support local brick and mortar commerce.
Yeah, Target really needs help.
Well, but the people employed there are your neighbors, Dick. They're your neighbors.
Yeah, get a better job. Actually, provide.
You know what? You're not going to be a greeter at Target. I can tell
No.
you that much. Does Target not have greeters? Is it just a
I don't
Walmart
really
thing?
know. I don't
think
really
I've
know.
only seen greeters at the Walmart.
Well, Target changed when they weren't giving free popcorn anymore.
I'm sorry, they gave free popcorn.
Oh yeah, back in like the day when I was like 6.
Wait a minute. I think I remember that.
And I actually got really pissed at one of the guys at Target because I was underage and I was trying to convince my mother to buy me a video game. And he was Mr. Do you know this video game is violent?
Oh, you
And
told that story. Okay, so that was it.
that was at Target. And I'm like, come
You're
on,
crunching
dude.
on your popcorn.
Come on.
Shut up, dude. Shut up.
Shut up. Is this game bloody? Yes, of course, Mom.
Of course it
Why
is.
else do I want to not play it? Like, I play every other game. I'm not playing Mario anymore. I want to shoot some zombies, dog.
And you've turned out perfectly fine. Did you ever find out how much money you've spent over the last 20 years
Oh, World of Warcraft.
on
No,
World
I
of
haven't.
Warcraft?
No,
I know that you figured out the time, and it was like an entire year, I think, of your life. Cumulatively, you spent
Yeah.
playing World of Warcraft. I know you were going to determine how much you spent. I think you should probably try and guess here on the air, and then when you do find out, we can see how close you are.
Well, if it's, let's just.
It's got to be over like $1,500,
Well,
right?
it's $15 a month. That's the subscription.
So it's a couple thousand. You've easily spent a couple thousand.
So, I mean, I probably spent at least 36 months playing that game.
Well, it's money well spent, I'm sure.
At least 36 months.
Okay, and how much is that times 15? Because I'm not good at math.
$540.
Wow, 5,000.
No, $540.
Well, it's only. Are you
But
sure?
but
I don't think your math's right.
But I've been playing it for over 10 years.
I don't think that math is right.
No, probably not. I'm not. Did I ever claim I was good at math?
No, you certainly have not. All right, buddy,
Oh, wait,
let's go.
hold on.
Whoa,
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
whoa, we almost
I wanted.
kicked off
I
the
know.
show.
I wanted to tell you this.
Keep your clothes
okay.
on.
So technology is getting so crazy these days, right? And I've been seeing this girl, and she did one of the things that like she has the earbuds in, right? Like one earbud.
Oh yeah, I'm one earbud guy.
And
So
the math thing is this is what got me reminded me of the story. So I'm helping her move some stuff, and then she starts doing math, and I thought she was asking me.
by default, that's girl math, by the way.
And she's like, hey, what is 15 times 38 divided by 2 or something like that? And I was like, I was looking.
What do you think? I'm Rain Man?
That's what I was lifting up stuff, helping her move it. And I go,
I'm just the muscle, babe.
do you really think I know that? Like, are you asking me? I can write it down and figure it out. And then she's like, no, I'm talking to this. And I'm like,
Oh, she was talking on the phone.
talking to Siri.
Oh,
But I had no
got
idea.
it.
I had no idea. Well, like 5 minutes later, she did the same thing, and I did the same reaction. I go, are you asking me? Like, how am I supposed to know this?
no, this is pretty neat though because you can really use that to your advantage when you just don't pay attention. She's like, I told you that last week. Oh, I thought you were just talking to Siri.
Yeah. Well, no, because I don't
Didn't know.
And I was thinking, I was like, am I being rude or is she being rude?
Yeah, I don't know who's at fault there. I don't know that it's necessarily
Like,
rude.
Can you imagine?
Because I think you're getting out of having to answer that math
yeah,
question.
true.
So
But like, you've been in the car with somebody on the phone.
I have.
And so, like, to me, that's a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, hey, you can always tell this person I'll call you after this thing, unless it's like an emergency.
Sure. It's kind of weird to have that phone conversation with everybody in the car.
So
It's quite a flex, I will say.
But what would happen if somebody's
going to
like
listen to my
constantly
conversation.
talking to Suri? Like, that would blow my mind if I'm sitting there and someone's like, yeah, I need to know what day, Christopher Columbus Day changed to that new day, we call it whatever.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, it's like, when did that happen? And I'm like, what the? And then it's like, all of a sudden, but I didn't hear Siri. I was like, I didn't know she touched it. I didn't know it just automatically does it.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It creeped me out, and I was like, because usually you hear someone, hey, Siri, what do you think of this?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, I get it. But when she did it, she did not say it. And I thought it was really rude, and I told her
I think
that.
we need a digital version of you, by the way.
Why?
We call it Digital Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Dick, what's 15 times 3 divided by 4?
Yeah, that would be
Wait, that doesn't
really
work.
that'd be really
Wait,
weird.
maybe it does.
But no, I was thinking, I felt that was really rude, and I told her, I was like, I'm just gonna stop helping you for a bit until you're done doing whatever you're doing.
Take your earbud out.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, you want to kick off this show? Let's do it right. Staff members at a primary school in Texas were recently placed on leave after putting so-called sleeping stickers on preschoolers during nap time.
Oh, yeah.
Officials at the school in question said this week. This is kind of wild. But apparently, allegations came to light in late September after one of the children came home from school with a sticker to show their mom. And I believe this is in Spring. So this is just south of here.
All right.
And this sticker was in the shape of a square with rounded edges, had a pale purple background, and a glow-in-the-dark looking design of a crescent moon among the starry night with 2 clouds
All right.
passing by.
I want to show you this.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but apparently these were melatonin stickers.
Yes, these are
I
real.
have never
These
heard
are
of this.
real. Melatonin. Oh, this one's melatonin free.
Well, then how does it work? Is it just like lavender or
One
something?
of the ones I found, because I really wanted to do this with you. Mm-hmm. I want to see how many patches we can put on each other and see
Until eventually just
until someone falls asleep.
Just like putting them on people's backs.
Yeah, that is well, because like when I read this story, I was thinking like, oh, that sounds normal. Like I can see, depending on the school, that's part of the system.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
It is okay. It is kind of dicey because this is giving children some kind of supplement, right? It's not dangerous necessarily, but at the same time, if these parents weren't made aware that their kids were getting melatonin to go take a nap, I could see why they were kind of pissed. But the mom asked the little girl what that was, and she said, "It's a sleeping sticker, Mommy." The first mother of likely many soon-to-be aggravated parents were discussing. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But if you think about it, I'm surprised something like this hasn't already happened before. I mean, there's
I never knew these things existed.
those little
until I was-
hellions running around, like, just go to sleep, cramming turkey in their face, something. Smacking them? Is that what you were doing?
No, putting stickers on.
Oh, smack. How many can you smack?
Well, no, because I remember I really hate sleeping aids. Like for some reason, every
I've
time
never taken one.
Like I've done the melatonin gummy bears because my nieces were taking them.
Normally, you just drink a 6-pack, and that'll about do it, right?
See, that actually goes the opposite for me on that.
You're
one.
ready to just go at
I'm
that.
ready
time.
to go. It's basically
Go!
PCP. Basically PCP. And so I did some of the gummies, the melatonin ones, because I was hanging out, spending the night with my sister and their kids, and it like zonked me. And then
Interesting.
you wake up and you feel so clouded.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can imagine a child waking up with this because I don't feel good. And now I want to get these patches. And
Yeah, I'd never heard of them either. I'd obviously heard of melatonin pills and things, but a sticker, I guess it kind of works like a
this one's for adults.
like a nicotine patch, I guess, right? I wonder what it would do if you like rolled it up and smoked it. Would it just be like instant coma?
I don't want to think about that.
Come on, kid, take a
I feel like my teeth,
puff pass, man.
my teeth would fall out.
There's a lot of kids around here. Don't bogart the sticker.
I need the strongest sleep time. I need to find the strongest one.
It says the little girl even spoke up for herself about the incident, saying, quote, "The sticker makes me fall asleep."
God.
Yeah, I would be a little concerned, I think, if my kid came home and was like, yeah, they're giving me sleepy time meds. But
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think more schools should do this because I always love that argument.
what's that? What argument?
It's like, how far does a school need to go to take care of your kid?
Well, I don't. Is this considered taking care of, or just? I think
mean-
this is for the teacher's benefit.
Well,
Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Right. So I'm surprised it hasn't happened before now.
Could you imagine like your son coming over after like sleepover, and it's like, oh, I had so much fun at Uncle Dick's house, they give us sleepy patches. And I'll be like,
I would never let my kid go to Uncle Dick's house.
yeah,
That's for sure.
I'd be like, sleepy patches? What are we talking about here?
yeah, look, Daddy, you got them just lined up on his arm.
Because I remember, like, when I had kids over, I got them in trouble. One kid particularly because he had sugar cereal.
Uh-oh.
And I was sitting there.
He was going for it, man.
I remember how much trouble, like, my mom, the woman called my mom.
Was this like a hypo that couldn't have sugar?
It's just one of those things, like, they didn't let him eat sugar cereal. My mom's
Yeah,
like,
I bet
here's some Fruit Loops. And then
Oh, yeah, watch him go.
And
wound him up, huh?
I'll never forget that because she's like, I'm sorry, you can't hang out with Timmy anymore because I don't want to have to deal with Timmy's special needs. I'm like, okay, Mom, whatever.
Pretty soon Tim's like dragging the playground monkey bar set behind him, right?
Yeah.
He's raging. Okay.
But the sleepy patches are great. I think you should try that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Especially
really have
with
an
your, with
issue.
your wife. You should try to be like, you go over, like, you kind of give her hugs and you keep put them on her and just see
How many it
how
takes.
many you get away.
Gosh, she's already gone through 3 boxes. Good God, go to sleep.
And next thing you know, you just hear this crash.
I wonder if Diddy used any of those.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably Cosby too.
A Washington State woman calls 911 after being hounded by up to 100 raccoons. Now, this is a wild story, but sheriff deputies in Washington's Kitsap County frequently get calls about animals, loose livestock, and even problem dogs. But the 911 call they received recently from a woman being hounded by dozens of raccoons swarming her home stood out. What really stood out to me is that she said she had reportedly had to flee her property after 50 to 100 raccoons descended upon it, and they were acting aggressively.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
So I just wanted to read. I was reading these reviews of the stickers. Apparently, you put them on the clothes.
They go through the clothes?
That's what all the ones.
Oh, I wonder if it's
found-
just smell. I bet it's smell. It doesn't actually seep into your skin. It's just a smell, maybe?
Yeah, because that makes more sense of how weird like the sticker is on the clothes. Because
Yeah.
I'd be really freaked out if it was like on the neck. I'm like, what are you doing putting stickers on your neck every time I see you? What's going on with that? But like a little,
It's like prison tats.
yeah, but like just having a sticker on your shirt.
Yeah, I bet it's a scent.
You think?
Let's buy some for the show. Just load it up on us and see if we can finish the show.
I'm interested now.
It's time for the quick show.
Okay, sorry to interrupt
This
you.
is
but
interesting,
I
though,
thought that
because
was interesting.
she said she started feeding a family of raccoon, quote, decades ago. But it was fine until about 6 weeks ago when the number showing up went from a handful to around 100. This is crazy, and I wonder if this is
this
true.
a picture of it?
Yes.
Is this a picture of it? I got
It's just crazy. And I wonder what happened that changed from it just being a handful.
Oh,
if she
whoa.
indeed has been feeding them for 30 years, and then all of a sudden she just gets attacked. Was there some kind of message that went out amongst the raccoon community there? All right, send in the reinforcements. She's got Captain Crunch and melatonin stickers.
Yeah, it might be something where it's like they eventually got to the point where she wasn't feeding. She changed the feed.
Yeah, maybe it was something really good. She
sure.
said the raccoons were becoming increasingly more aggressive, demanding food, that they would hound her day and night, scratching at the outside of her home, at her door. If she pulled up in her car, they would surround her car, scratching it, surrounding it. If she went in front to the front of her house, to her car door, or the front door, sorry, they saw her as a food source. Wow.
This reminds me of Crackoon.
Crackoon?
I sent you that trailer, right, for that movie, Crackoon?
No, but please do.
Yeah, check it out, Crackoon.
Wait, hold on. I think we've talked about it. I don't think you sent me
I didn't send it
the
to you.
trailer.
But you know, people have raccoons as freaking pets. We talked about that, I know, in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but like,
Yeah, not a good pet.
I would just start shooting these things. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, it is. I mean, she obviously
Imagine that.
is a kind soul because she loved them, I'm sure, which is why she's been feeding them for so long. So
She's
she probably
clearly
didn't want to just...
delirious.
Yeah, it doesn't show a picture of her, but I have a picture in my mind of what this woman looks like. She probably looks like the person who feeds raccoons. I'm just going to say that.
Probably
It says
better
this is a
looking than
nuisance.
me.
This is a nuisance problem, kind of her own making, that she has to deal with. The sheriff said. So in other words, he called in. He's like, "You got to deal with this. I ain't taking care of him. This is your own problem." Kind of weird, man.
I like it.
Yep. So, Nick, I know you've been running through the ladies here lately and just leaving just a trail of tears behind you, but I thought you might get this next story or find this next story a little interesting. But a woman makes her ex-boyfriends jealous by adding fake AI boyfriends to her selfies. And I'm sorry
What?
because she takes pictures of herself and then she uses AI to generate some.
Oh, that's
dude.
great.
And if you look at these, it's hilarious because it looks fake as hell.
No, they're not that bad.
She's sitting there on the subway. For those of you who are just on
Right, here,
podcast, you can
here.
see a picture of her on the subway, and then she superimposed some guy. Man, you know, if I'm gonna pick any guy, I'm gonna
That
pick
isn't-
somebody who looks a little bit better than I'm just saying.
What? That guy's not even real.
Well, right, exactly. I mean, if you can do it fake, might as well make him look kind of hunky.
That doesn't look too bad.
No, he just looks average. That's my point. But I guess if you make it too hunky, then it's going to be obvious, right? I'm like, no, that can't be real. But I'm just wondering.
This one's really bad. Like, because his neck is like on
It
the
doesn't
table.
look right at all. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense why she would eventually come out and say this. I don't know, unless, you know, someone obviously found that she was doing this and said, well, I'm going to just get the most out of this and see if I can get a few clicks on my TikTok. Oh, well.
I think I would have so much fun with this.
No rebound guy, no problem. A New York
I would
woman
do-
has devised a way to make her ex-boyfriends jealous without landing Mr. Right away by using generative AI to digitally add new bows onto
cute,
her
though.
online snaps and a video seen over 55 million views. She says in one of the videos, she captioned it, "I win every breakup." She sounds lovely.
I like it.
So
I like the challenge. If you're still out there and you want to have some fun, give me a call. It's irlonestar.com/AOO. That's great.
Dick, we tried to...
I'm trying to think immediately when you said this, is like, who would I generate in my pictures? Because I imagine it being like really, like, I put furries in it. Like, that's what I would probably do for a fun joke. I would do furries, and I'd do like carnival women with like the beard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You say, look, I'm an equal opportunity employer.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't discriminate. No hate. Don't discriminate.
I think that'd be funny. And then like 7 dwarves.
I think the idea here is dwarfs. I think the
I
idea
think
is
that
to
would
make
be
your
good.
ex jealous.
Well, yeah, I moved on. I'm
Yeah, I'm experimenting here.
I'm experimenting.
Trying a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Are you a fan of the show Bridgerton? Have you even heard of
How do we know what
Okay. Bridgerton, I think,
Is that like Downton Abbey?
I think it's all basically the same thing. It's like
Because
one
I
of
don't
these-
even know what that is. I
It's
just
a
know it's a
period
British.
piece, right? It's set in like the early 1800s, and everybody dresses up all fancy, and it's like a romance comedy thing. I think I've never seen it either, but there was a Bridgerton-inspired ball in Michigan that sparked chaotic disappointment. This is really, really funny. But it says, what was supposed to be a fairy tale evening for Bridgerton fans in Detroit over the weekend, this was a few weeks ago, devolved into chaos with attendees complaining that the Regency-era ball had raw food, cheap decor, and hardly any staff to help. This is pretty funny, man, because some of these people paid up to like $200 and $300 for these tickets. And apparently when they showed up, they got nothing what they were expecting. It says... Uncle and Me, LLC, the Detroit-based evening planning company behind the event, had promised the attendees, quote, an evening of sophistication, grace, and historical charm, according to the website, which is no longer up as of Thursday. Pretty funny. So when they got there, though, one of the ladies said no one was even there to take their ticket, so they could have just walked right in. The food was raw, the lack of decor, and there was no security. No one checked my bags. No one scanned our tickets. It was a safety hazard, to say the least. In fact, they said all that was there was an exotic dancer and a violin player.
I mean, I don't really know what it is.
Basically, what this is a failed event. And you know if you're one of these event planners, you know when one of these events is going to fail, right? Like, you can feel it come. You know the date is coming up. You haven't done jack squat. You've sold probably 30, 40 tickets for this thing. And you're asking your event buddy planner, hey, Did you get anything for that Bridgerton party? He's like, I got the stripper. I got the violin player. Do you think the stripper actually danced to the violin player? Because
I don't think it was a stripper.
That
was
might
it?
be
Is it a belly dancer. Is that what it
worth.
said?
That might be worth the price of admission. It said an exotic dancer.
Yeah, this would be probably one of the funniest things to go to. I would really enjoy this.
Oh, where does it say that? I know I read it in there, but
Well, I mean, I'm trying to look at because there's a lot of social media people
Mm-hmm.
complaining about it, and it's like, oh, they didn't serve us period food.
yeah,
I'm
This
like,
one,
really?
this one lady said, I wanted to feel like Daphne, which apparently is a character from the show, said Kimberly Pineda, 22 years old, blah, blah, blah. I wanted florals everywhere, violins playing in the back. It was the idea we were sold for the amount of tickets that we were going for. Yeah, this is terrible. Oh, man. Well, you get what you want. Can you imagine a bunch of them ladies because they're all dressed up, I'm sure, and they're just all staring at each other, listening to one solo violin player and a chick twerking over there in the corner, and they're going, this is not what I had planned on.
Yeah, so the price range was $119 to $1,000.
Man, how would you twerk to a violin?
Yeah,
I'm really
it's a
curious about this
violin.
one.
I mean, you got some weird fetishes, dog. I'm down.
Well, I don't know.
I'll have that in my AI photo. Andrew twerking to a violin behind me. I was like, hey. What else would you put behind you
I don't know what you mean.
in the AI photos? I would do I went to like a public hanging. That would
Okay.
be wild.
Yeah,
Because you got to come up with an idea that people, when they're like on social media scrolling through, like that's somewhat believable.
I put a bunch of raccoons behind me.
Raccoons would be fun, like hanging out with my buds.
But I'm getting a little scared
I think
because they're getting aggressive.
I think Elon Musk could be really funny.
Yeah, I don't want to be affiliated with that guy.
Why not?
Kind of weird.
That's why I like it. People get pissed. I think Donald Trump would be great. Like, can you imagine an AI me doing this with Donald Trump? You know how people would flip out.
Flip out.
And that's all I want is a good reaction.
Okay. I had that video that crashed the system last time or a couple of shows ago.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid to play it again, but this was that video. Oh, no, mine crashed here. That's the reboot.
Oh, the shirt?
The shirt.
Oh,
Yes, this is pretty wild. I want you to show this to the onesies. But this is a contraption that is designed.
We were for sure didn't show this, right?
No,
We for sure didn't
we
show
were
this.
afraid to show it because it crashed the computer last time. But this is a design, basically something that goes on your belt underneath your shirt that moves in and out to cool, to sort of wave your shirt in order to cool you off. And it kind of looks like something Data from the Goonies would have invented.
Yeah.
But when you're watching, it looks really, really inappropriate as this thing in his belt is pushing in and out. But although you know what he's not doing? Sweating. That's right. He's nice and cool. Would you want that?
Well, I think that we should include that in our new product with the onesies.
What's that?
Like, we're selling onesies.
Oh, so
and
yes.
it should have that in the onesie.
What is it called, by the way? My page crashed on me. There must be something weird about that site.
Cool Breeze, waving shirts.
Waving
for cool.
shirts for a cool breeze, the unlimited device. Oh, by Fantastic Finds? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is actually real or not.
It's not real.
It's not. Oh, man. It only has 215 views, and I bet half of those are ours.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's a pretty good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about agreeing to fight. Right here on the Audience of One Show.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
All right, we are back with Audience of One Spooky Edition. Ooh! Just kidding. Let's get some beer going. Actually, I have some beer here. I forgot. We had Southern Star Brewery in.
I saw that.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they brought some beer. Cool. You know what's so weird to me? So they brought in this really
And
cool,
now, what's weird to Dick?
is they had the brewmaster and they're talking about what they're trying to change up because they have new ownership, and I'm sitting there kind of listening to it while trying to do the camera work, and then they go, "Yeah, our new thing we're doing is an energy drink." And I'm like, "How does that have to do with beer?"
Oh, Geek Soda.
So
They're stealing our idea.
you're on it.
Yeah. It's
I
awesome.
wanted to let you know. I also want to let know listeners we're here every Friday. It's our new time at 10 a.m. You can always subscribe to the podcast, Facebook or YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio, or look up Audience of One Show. And then you can always send us your funny articles or weird things at audienceofoneshow@gmail.com, which, by the way, I sent Andrew while I guess you were gone or you're here or you're switching in between flights. I don't know what you're doing half the time. Because I saw that article about Lieutenant Dan.
The update on Lieutenant Dan.
And he's
They got him.
And they finally arrested
They
him.
busted him.
And I will say, shame on the people writing these articles, because when I read it first, even though we talked about the other Lieutenant Dan, I thought they were actually talking about Gary Sinise. Because it says
Or Sinise.
Or Sinise, is it Sinise?
Sinise. Yeah.
But like the headline's like Lieutenant Dan arrested for so and so and so and so, and I'm like, I don't think does Gary do that kind of stuff? Like he's always,
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
And they got him on like some kind of like failure to appear for a citation or something,
Yeah.
and they tic-tacked him or whatever you want
They
to
got
say.
him.
Yep, they nabbed him up.
Someone saw that news report,
That's it.
and it said that legless pirate has got to be stopped.
They had a bug up their butt about that guy.
Oh, 100%. Well, like I remember I told you, I know people like that where they live in that community and they've been grandfathered in, so they can kind of get away with whatever because legally they have no grounds, but they just hate this guy because
We're going to get him on something.
he's
The
just
inspection on his boat was up
yeah
or something.
yeah, like
Registration's out. Gotcha.
because it's kind of like when you live in the trailer park, that one person gets away with everything because they've been there the longest, and they have that stupid
R.I.P. Lieutenant
mattress.
Dan.
But he's not dead.
I don't know. Maybe he is. You don't know what's happened to him in prison.
Well, in Canada they would kill him
Probably so.
because he's old and he's legless, he's useless. So they just inject him and kill him.
Yeah. Dick, have you had this experience where you go into like a public restroom and it's large enough to be like for multiple occupancy, but it's still just for one person?
Oh yeah,
And so it has,
especially at gas stations.
yeah, it has like a toilet and a urinal,
Oh, yeah.
but it's for only one person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, and a lock on the door or whatever. So in those situations, and you got to pee, what are you doing? You doing sit down or stand up? Because now you have options, right?
I'm not sitting down to pee
Just making
in
sure.
a public restroom. No, actually, it's funny.
You have a choice, though. But it seems a bit excessive to me. It's like, why didn't they just put a divider in there and make it a two-seater? But it's awkward.
Well,
when
'cause
it's still a one-seater.
My idea behind that, especially if it's in a gas station, they did that to change. They needed to change it because of the mess people were making, and having one person go in at a time, you have more of a chance of like cleaning it up. Because when we get multiple people in the bathroom, one person
You never have a chance to clean
yeah,
that baby.
and now you just have one, so you can lock it and clean it. Okay, there's two things I do want to tell you with bathroom stories this weekend.
All right. And
I
now
went-
bathroom stories.
I went to the Woodlands Pavilion, and they had the trough pissers.
Okay.
And one thing I'm going to tell everybody about this, because usually when you have a beer and you go into the urinal, the urinal is kind of safe
Uh-oh.
to put the beer.
That's gross, but yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Like you put it on top of the thing that you hit down. Like there's like you're peeing down and you're not peeing up, right? Well, this trough was just long, and you could probably fit about 8 dudes, and people were putting their beer
On the top of the trough.
on top of the trough, and
That
I'm
is
like,
so nasty.
because I was about to do it because I was like, I gotta pee, and then I'm like, well, wait, where can I put my beer? Like, I'm not putting my beer there, and I'm like, where can I put my beer? And I waited in line, so people were like waiting for me to pee, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I just left, and I got back in line. I'm like, just drink the beer.
That is always the dilemma of whether or not you take an open beer or
Yeah.
beverage into
So
the
that
bathroom
happened.
with you, but you don't want to set it down. But at the same time, you got to go.
And I want to ask the onesies this question: is if anyone in the restaurant business? I went to a restaurant over the weekend, and I walked into the restroom, and they had a 5-gallon bucket, which was like right next to the urinal,
Okay.
and it's filled with water. And I'm like, oh, there might be a leak. Oh, it's weird. And so, these urinals, and this is what pisses me off about some restaurants.
No pun intended.
Is the urinal was on the floor, like to the floor for little kids,
Mm-hmm.
and every single one was like that. I'm like, why would they do this? And they had this freaking.
Oh no!
Almost.
I think it was.
I think we're good. We got this water bucket right next to it, and I'm so confused. I'm like, why is there a water bucket right next to this tiny urinal?
Did you feel an overwhelming urge to urinate in that bucket? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm already because it's so low. That's why I don't like low urinals because when you're as tall as I am, because I'm a tall person, the stream hits and then it splashes really like a lot because it has so much time to get down to the little urinal. Because like normal urinals are higher. And so I was like, this is weird. And then I go to the wash my hands. There's a 5-gallon bucket in the middle of the sink area with a little cup.
What is
and
going on with this place?
And there's no water. I discovered.
Oh,
And I'm like, can you be open without any water? That's the question I have for the onesies. And I go, I guess you got to dip your cup and wash your hands.
and then run that over the top of your hands.
I was thinking.
I think I just risk whatever germs were on my hands rather than doing that. Seems like you're introducing more germs that
And
way.
I was so confused. And then, okay, this is going to sound very bad. But in my mind, I go, this has got to be illegal to be like, because I can understand like the restroom breaking.
Mm-hmm.
But if the next clue was they served water in water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, so the kitchen doesn't have any water.
Ooh. There's a penal code being broken somewhere.
I guarantee you. But see, this is one of those restaurants where like every worker is like a family member. So you're like, no one's tattletelling.
Nope. But you are.
And
You're telling.
they're going for it. And I go,
Yeah, that's pretty nasty, man.
And I said, and I actually respected that. I was like, the code of silence is being kept. That's a good team
thought
we
for
got here.
sure you were going to. No, you're like, I actually respect this.
And I did.
All right.
I mean, like,
Good for you, man.
But is that? I'm pretty sure that's illegal to be
I
open
would
without
imagine
running water.
so. Yeah. Imagine your dishes are probably sitting back in that type of water.
I don't
as
want to
well.
know.
Yeah. Dick, have you ever? I'm sure that you have. So might I ask it a different way? When's the last time you ate convenience store food?
Like a donut.
Whatever, man. Like you went to the convenience store to get your smokes or whatever, and you decided to grab one of them hot dogs that's been on the rolly. Been on the rolly wheel for
I've
3
never
days.
done the rolly wheel. I've done like the.
You've never done rolly wheel hot dog?
Well, I mean, I have at QT, but that's like their thing.
Yeah, man.
I've had like tacos, but that's like they're making them right in front of you, so it's not.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, that's like if they have like a little restaurant in there.
Yeah.
This would be just like something that's there. That's
like the donuts always confuse me because like they don't have a bakery there.
yeah, where are you getting
And
this stuff
so
from?
they've got the drop-off donuts, but they don't put like a sticker. Hey, these were dropped off yesterday.
I don't know. I always feel like the guy behind the counter is judging me a little bit every time I bring up like a soda and maybe a rolly cart hot dog, like I said. Like he's going, dude, really? That thing's been sitting there for 3 days. You're the one who's going to eat it. And like if I'm walking out with like a plastic sack back out to my car, I always feel a little odd about the decisions I've just made.
Do you remember when people used to go to the?
It's a sign I've purchased too much. If they give you a bag and say, "Do you need a bag with that, sir?" You're buying too much stuff. That's my point.
You ever been back in the day gotten popcorn at a gas station?
Where
Where
like
like
I'm probably
you
I
could
probably
literally
have.
they had like microwaves. You can literally pop
Oh yeah,
your
yeah,
popcorn.
yeah, yeah.
I always enjoyed that.
But that seems fairly clean because that's just
I know, but it's just funny to me. It's like, what kind of snack do you want from the gas station? Oh, I gotta make my own popcorn.
you bring up an interesting point though. Have you ever bought anything that besides the popcorn that you had to heat up there in the convenience store microwave? Nothing is more
Like the
beaten.
burritos,
Yeah,
something
than
like that.
find like Da Bomb or whatever burrito. I think that's what they're called. You have to go back there and hit 30 seconds,
Hot Pocket. And,
warm that sucker up. That is just so beaten.
But no, they stopped doing that though. I don't think they have microwaves really.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in a while. It's all kind of just like I said, rolly cart now.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
the ones I go to. The ones I have like restaurants in them now.
Oh, man.
I still don't even trust that food.
Just saw the video you were talking about
What?
during the break. You brought up the Bridgerton video from that event, and
Oh, you saw-
there was a stripper there.
Yeah, I showed you the strip. I did find
It just
the stripper.
flashed on my screen. There's the person playing the violin. Looks like one violin player, and then there's some lady with a pole doing like a pole dance.
I'm pretty sure she had a thong on too.
Yes, man. I don't know what this has to do with early 18th century Bridgerton. Oh my God, that was funny. Whew.
See, that's one of the things you do a lot of drugs and you go to.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I had a
well,
significant other, like we're going to this Bridgerton thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going loose. All right, like she's like, what? I'm like,
now.
I'm gonna take some drugs. I'm going for it.
well, staying on this theme of food
And then I get to see all that. I'm like,
you-
this is awesome.
and convenience store food, do you ever adhere to the best if used by dates on food products? You know, if it says like sell by or best if used before by.
Yeah, I mean, I do if it's like a year old.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
But, like,
then that's
it-
that's not adhering to it, then, Dick.
If it's like within 30 days and it's
30
something.
days.
Well, like for example, pickles.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's like mayonnaise, yeah, I'm gonna throw that crap away.
Okay, so if it said best before
And
March
If it's a meat, I'll smell it.
March of 2024 and it's now April of 2024, you ain't eating it. That mayonnaise.
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
If it's
So it's a
mayonnaise,
sliding
I
scale, huh?
probably wouldn't do the mayonnaise unless it's not been opened. If it hasn't been open, yeah, I'll eat it.
I usually give everything a sniff test, but I've heard that that's not always the best thing to do because
No.
sometimes it could be past its
But
prime.
that's what I'm saying.
and
Like,
it smells
if
just
it's
fine.
been
though.
sealed and it's just sitting on a shelf or whatever, you might be good. It's better than unsealed and just sitting there in the refrigerator.
True dat. True dat. Well, California is banning their sell-by and best before labels. California wants to end the household debate of whether the food in the fridge is still good to eat. The state is the first to ban food labels such as sell-by
Why would you
or
ban that?
best before, a law signed by Governor Gavin Newsom.
Why would you?
It's to I think the reasoning here is to eliminate some food waste because this best before and best by is really for the retailers to sell things and has nothing to do with if the food is not good after that date. And so they're saying that it's extremely wasteful, and I think there's a global warming element to this, but whatever. That they're just trying to eliminate food waste. But to me, there's got to be some kind of date on there where the store can't sell something. I mean, your hamburger patty gray, it's like, yeah.
Well, the article.
Hey, if you want
says
it, man.
Food labels that say sell by or best by are misleading because they have no universal meaning under current laws.
I don't know. If it says sell by, that seems pretty.
I didn't know we needed laws to like tell us not to eat this past.
I know. It's kind of wild, right? Kind of wild. The legislation signed by Newsom over the weekend, I think this was last weekend, aims at reducing, like I said, both food waste and the state's climate warming emissions. All right, whatever, dude. That's a bit of a stretch.
It's funny though because so now they're basically saying this is in order to help combat the climate warning emissions. That's what it says, and food waste, right?
Correct.
But then there's more than 50 different date labels on packaged food sold in stores in California, but the information is largely unregulated and does not relate to food safety.
Right.
So
It says the sell-by dates, for example, often act as a guide for the stores to pull products from the shelf, like I was saying, and not as an indicator of whether the product is still safe to consume.
why do they pull it?
Because it's not safe. I don't know. I think that's exactly why this was signed into law. But my point is there still has to be something, right?
No, they're going back to zero.
So you're just going to use your own sniffer to tell.
They're going back to because what it
Is
sounds.
this meat fresh? I don't know. You tell me.
See what this tells me is that,
Try
like,
it, I dare
there's
you.
50 different labels and they couldn't agree on one label. Like, hey, we have to agree on one label. We have to have like a blue one for the store and a red one for personal. And they're like, no, we can't. That's too complicated.
Right.
Like, we're just gonna get rid of it all.
Yep. It says with
And-
no federal regulations dictating what information these labels should include, the stamps have led to consumer confusion, and nearly 20% of the nation's food waste, according to the FDA in California, is about 6 million tons of unexpired food that gets tossed into the trash
Dude,
every year.
my mind is so blown with this. Okay, so this is a quote from Assembly Member Jackie Irwin.
Yep.
Having to wonder whether our food is still good is an issue that we have struggled with. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you're going to continue that. This new law is a monumental step to keeping money in the pockets of consumers while helping the environment. And, and I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I go, you just didn't accomplish anything. It's like you're...
Putting the burden on us, man. That's what it is.
Well, I do kind of like that because I think if I lived in California as a joke, I'd make a movement, all your expired food, send it to this woman because you're like, hey, I didn't know this was expired because it doesn't have an expiration date on it. I figured you'd want it because you're like this kind of stuff.
Oh, my gosh. Well, like all these laws, they pass them and then they set them far out into the future. So this one's not set to take effect until July of 2026. It's like, well, if it's that big of a deal, why don't you like put it into law right now? If we're wasting that much food, just do it now or the end of the year. No, July of 2026.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that I always loved about like the bread aisle, because if you didn't know if you go to the bread aisle to get hamburger buns or whatever, they have those little twisties on it, and the color of a twisty was the code to tell you when the bread was made, and a lot of people did not know that. And depending on like
Red and yellow and
yeah,
blue, right?
and so they'll tell you like, oh, it's a Tuesday, that's a Wednesday, that's whatever, but that has nothing to do with the public. That just has to do with the transporter.
Yeah, bread's a little different because if it's green, don't eat it. Not the label, the bread.
Yeah, but I mean that's not even the label. It's just a twisty tie.
Yeah.
So it's not for the public to be like, oh, I know.
And there's no date on it. Per
yeah,
se,
there's not.
so.
And then, but that's what it's for because I learned that from my neighbor who there was actually a bread shop next door where I used to live, and I would wander in there drunk, and I'm like, hey, what goes on here? It smells so good, and then they would talk to me. And that's what I learned. That's why I was like, oh, here are those little labels. They had, like boxes of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is one we do on Tuesday. This is our Tuesday label.
Yeah.
That
Well,
way,
I just feel a little uncomfortable with this decision, honestly. I just feel like retailers
I like it.
are going to be pushing this to the nth degree, man.
well, because what
Stuff's going to be sitting there
I
for
laugh
years.
'cause you get political with it. It's like, hey, we gotta save the environment.
Yeah, that's just thrown
And
in.
you know how we're gonna save the environment? We gotta get rid of expiration dates.
Yeah, it's a force field there. As long as it's for the environment, you can't argue with it. Yep,
Yeah.
sorry, it's for the environment. Oh, dang it, he's
Well,
right.
what
I can't fight that.
Well, next thing you
Can't argue
know,
with that.
some kid's gonna eat like some egg.
That's the thing. I'm gonna eat an egg, and it's gonna make him sick, and he's gonna die, and then Gavin Newsom's gonna have that on his ledger.
That's where you send the body
All right, Dick, this is now to his house.
to his house.
Next couple of stories are definitely going to have your attention, but a Texas high school teacher, Kim Judzowski, draws a large penis on a student's assignment to, quote, discipline him. Not a small penis, Richard. No.
Oh, there's a picture of it.
Yes.
There's a picture of it.
This is kind of insane, but a high school teacher who drew a large penis across one of her students' class assignments has since apologized for doing so and has been allowed to remain on her job.
Yeah, you can-
They didn't even fire her, but yeah, you can see that's.
Was it a girl or a guy who drew it?
I believe it is a woman. Her name
Okay.
is Kim. That sounds to me. She is a language and arts teacher at Chaplin High School in El Paso, Texas. Decided to take a bold step as a way of, quote, disciplining a male pupil. Yeah, because that's the first thing I think of. You know what? I'm going to draw a pain on this guy's paper. That'll show him.
That is kind of an odd
It's
thing to
weird.
do.
It doesn't make any sense. How does that discipline him from anything? An image of the drawing came to light when the student posted it onto the social media site where it was spotted, and his mother said it was shocking, as she told ABC7 that she didn't believe it. It's hilarious. I just don't get it, though. Yes, it says the teacher reportedly apologized, adding, get this is my favorite part. She totally understands if the student wants to go to another school. I think you have this backwards, lady. I think you need to go to another
No,
school.
I mean, I like
That's
it.
so weird. No,
I like
hey,
it.
look, I drew a penis on your paper. I know that makes you feel uncomfortable. Hey, you're free to go to another school if you want. That's essentially what she's saying.
Maybe she has tenure.
She might. Yes, I understand if you want to go to another school. However, the process should take more than a month. So,
Maybe she's gooping.
gonna take a while.
Maybe she's gooping the principal.
I don't know.
You never know with these school people. They're gooping all over each other.
Well, the student's mom accused the school of being too forgiving because of the teacher's gender. Instead of a male teacher, had been doing this to a female student, they would have taken this totally serious. And she does bring up a good point there.
Well, no one cares.
If a
It
dude
happened to a
teacher is
dude.
drawing a penis on a young teenage girl's paper, we got some issues.
Yeah, it'd be called pervert.
Right. So I think she has a point.
We've all been there, dude.
Well, one of the students says, she's fun and always tries to go way too hard to be one of the guys. This is a red flag, man. This is a red flag. They're speaking about the teacher that
Next
is.
thing you know, they're hooking up.
Hooking up.
Goop goop.
Okay, staying on this theme of teachers and being inappropriate, teachers, and let's see, teachers, parents defend, oh my God,
Can you talk?
I can't talk. This doesn't really make sense. On October
I wouldn't
9th,
do it. Skip
colleagues
it. Skip it.
colleagues and parents wrote letters and spoke at Tuesday's Boulder Valley School Board meeting to defend a Fairview High School teacher, Rebecca Roeto, who no, this I can't even get it out.
Oh my god.
Who, according to a memo provided to the school board, Reto was drawing cartoon penises on the student's paper and the student's yearbook. What is with these teachers drawing penises?
Isn't that like in Superbad? Wasn't that like a joke in that movie?
This is horribly written, but that might have been.
Like he
It might
couldn't
have
help
been.
himself. He just kept drawing little penises on his stuff. I'm pretty sure that was in Superbad.
But apparently, this woman has been employed in the district since 2003, and she teaches wellness in action, yoga, and bowling classes at the school last year at Fairview. Respect. as well as running the Adelante program. I don't know what Adelante means, but it provides support to first-generation students. Well, that wasn't enough. She needed to draw penises on their yearbooks. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Well, she's been on leave since August 7th and did not speak at Tuesday's meeting. The dismissal recommendation was an information item and wasn't discussed by the school board. But sounds like she's going to keep her job too. I never had any teachers that were this cool.
You know what's weird though is thinking.
What's the point?
Like imagining myself as a student in these scenarios, I would be wondering what reality I was in, because I'd be like, "Can I just leave now? Like we're talking about drawing penises. Can I just leave? Like it's fun. We're having fun. We get it. But can I just go home?"
So weird, man. So weird. Oh well. Are you aware, Dick, of the mutual combat law here in Texas?
I want to say yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. The law states that any two individuals who feel the need to fight can agree to mutual combat through a signed for or even just verbal or implied communication. That is kind of interesting. So in other words,
I don't think you can use guns.
it says as long as no, quote, serious bodily injury occurs and both participants know what degree of risk they are hazarding,
Like, I've
mutual
heard of
combat
this.
is a defense for criminal or civil suit that may be used against you. So it's kind of interesting. It probably goes way back, but essentially if two guys go, hey, man, let's duke it out, perfectly fine. In Texas, you can do that.
Well,
I don't know, man.
The funny thing about these kind of laws is they're so old that when you apply them to real world situations,
Yep.
no officer is going to be like, "Oh, this must be that mutual combat law." Duh. Like this one guy's beating the crap out of the other guy. Mutual combat.
Yep, mutual.
Clearly.
No, not mutual.
Yeah. Like you don't know, and then there's
Say it's mutual. Say it's mutual.
yeah, it's like sign it. So I wonder if you have to declare it, like in the paper or something, to make it official. Like either go on social
Yeah,
media.
I'm sure
or
there's some
something.
fine print. It does say several states still have this as an active law, but the
I think it's
restrictions
great.
vary.
I think it's great.
For example, in California, the law is only applicable under the authority of a professional fighting association. That's lame, but not in Texas.
Well, in Texas, I can totally see that's how you solve your problems with your neighbors.
Yeah, man.
And like if you both sign the deal and then you have to make it public, meaning like you have to put it on like a pizza poster or something. Because I can see that. I can see that being the rule. Like, and they would be like, "Oh, I just put it on Facebook." That
Yeah.
counts, right?
I suppose. Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
The law probably didn't account for that back.
Well, I'm saying back in the
100 years
day,
ago.
I bet you had to put it in the paper, saying, "Hey, these people are agreeing to a combat match by swords or whatever."
Well, it says, but now that you know that this is the law, think twice about the next argument you have with a friend or an enemy. It may just
Yeah, but you
save your
can-
relationship.
But you can disagree to not do it. Like you have to agree to do it.
Yeah, both parties apparently have
Yeah.
to agree.
Let's be real.
Yeah, man. Let's
Be real. No one else is as man as me, so no one's gonna fight me
Okay.
except these bears and these raccoons.
Raccoons.
And then I'll take some drugs and make it even better. I'm like, let's see how fast I can die. But
Okay.
that's funny though, yeah, because I have heard about this because I remember reading a weird article about these two dudes wanted to have a destruction derby, so they wanted to hit each other with the cars.
Oh, cool. All right.
But like they were saying, like, "Oh, you're gonna get hurt," but apparently they found some way where it's like, "No, we can do this because it's like mutual combat." That's what like it was weird because
Would it be settling some sort of beef or a
yeah,
score?
it was something like that's what they agreed to do. Is like they each had their own car and they wanted to hit each other with it. But then someone was like the insurance.
All right, I
company-
challenge you to
Yeah.
a what? What did you call it?
Like it's mutual combat, but
Okay.
by
But
destruction derby.
vehicular
Yeah.
mutual combat.
It was some weird thing. I was like,
One might argue that's I-45. I'm just gonna say.
yeah. But I thought it was kind of funny. I remember reading about mutual combat, and it's like they had to agree to do it, and because I think it was also like they didn't want anyone to sue because they're hitting each other with cars.
Well, yeah, and it says in a perfect world, if mutual combat was the first and last course of action in any conflict, then we would have our arguments, fight with respect and honor, and leave the problems at the door the next day.
See, the problem is I wouldn't fight with respect at all.
Fighting dirty.
Well, it's like
You agreed to this.
yeah, like I'm going to hit you in the balls, like we're fighting.
I didn't agree to that.
Well, if we agree to it, I get it.
Parlay.
I can get it for like, hey, we're gonna do just grappling. That's one thing I always love when dudes. They ever seen dudes like, oh, we're just gonna grapple, and I'm like, you're not just gonna grapple.
Yeah,
dude.
it turns like homoerotic really quickly when
Well,
two
now-
guys are like, hey man, no fighting, but let's grapple.
It's just grappling, and then
There's something about that
and
just
then
doesn't quite seem right.
An elbow edges somebody in the eye, and like, hey, that's not grappling. Yeah, it is.
Here's my nuts. Yeah, it's
and
kind of
then it's
weird.
like I'm gonna use my thumb.
Yeah. Are you now?
Whoopsie! I would have loved it.
Are you into grappling?
Yeah, I'm into thumbs.
That would be really funny if you get into it with a fight, like with somebody at a bar. He's like, all right, man, let's take this outside. You're like, it's cool, man.
Mutual combat.
Music combat, but we can only grapple.
No, I have people that's like just grappling, but every time they say just grappling, it escalates really quickly to fighting.
Yeah, that didn't last
And,
very long.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand why we're gonna even pretend to do this. If
Oh, well, Sammy Basso, activist and longest living survivor
that
of
reminds me.
progeria.
that reminds me, have you seen
And
this?
ignore what I just said in the last
Sorry.
5 seconds.
Have you seen the slapping, power slapping?
Oh, yeah, we've talked about it at length.
So
It's
that's what we
insane.
That's what we need to have is a mutual combat power slap. That's real. That could be real,
That could be.
and we can settle things. That way.
Solves all our problems.
Yeah. What kind of
And probably
problems?
creates a few
Not
additional
really.
ones.
Like what?
I don't know. Concussions, CTE, loss of hearing.
Don't
broken jaws.
Don't tell me it's climate control stuff.
Right.
Is it prevent climate control? Is that what you're telling me if we don't do it?
You got to have a force field of some
yeah,
kind.
Yeah.
We're saving baby seals, man. Smack me.
You know what's really funny to me? I just had this thought of Gavin Newsom sitting there going like, it's
Do you
like,
want to grapple with him?
No, yeah, it's like 3:00 in the morning. He can't sleep. People are tweeting him mean things, and he's just like, ugh, I'm really stressed. I'm gonna go make a sandwich or something. And he like opens up the mayonnaise and just like scoops it out, and then it's expired.
He's like, he gets bit in the ass by his own law.
Yeah, and he's just like,
Oh, I bought this and it was trashed. Don't want to waste it, though. Got to eat it there, Gavin. Got to
yeah.
eat it.
I was just thinking, I was like, that'd be so funny. Because people have to get used to that for the first couple months. Like, where's the expiration date?
Oh, yeah.
Because I look at expiration dates all the time.
All the
on stuff-
time. That's
for
my
stuff.
point, yeah.
And like, and again, there are 50 different ones. Because
And if it's one day over on some items, it goes out, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't risk it. I can't risk it. Now, milk, I'll give it a sniff. But like cheese and stuff, if it's past the date, man, I'm just chunking it.
weird, you'll give milk a day, but not cheese.
Yeah, because cheese is already spoiled when you buy it, man. And so,
well, I mean, like, well, it's kind of like I always laugh at people when they have mold on their bread, and it's like
you laugh at them, do you?
Yeah, because there's like mold just on that, right? And
Scrape it
to
off.
scrape it off, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I have people like, oh no, that means like we just don't see the mold. I'm like, well, there's gonna be mold on it no matter what time of the period you buy it. Like right when they make it, there's mold.
Kind of the process, isn't it?
I learned that when I was drunk inside of another bakery.
Sammy Basso, activist and longest living survivor of progeria, dies at 28. And if you aren't familiar with what progeria is, it's a disease that affects children that leads to rapid aging.
Yeah, I'm not opening that image at all.
Oh, no, you're not?
That creeps me out.
Oh, does it? Okay,
Maybe
so
that's what I should do in my AI shot.
have Sammy Basso next to you.
yeah.
Oh, have him on your shoulder. We're not laughing at this. It is kind of sad, but this guy is 28 years old, and the picture of him, he doesn't look necessarily old as he looks more deformed, but he does have young eyes. It's like the
that's
eyes
gotta
couldn't
be-
age, but the rest of his body is just this wrinkly old.
Well, it's kind of like that weird thing with your
Sad, man.
ears. They say that your ears never stop growing.
Yeah, his nose is oversized. His ears are a little weird. Yeah, I feel sorry for the guy, but he lived to be 28, so most people, I think, with this disease don't live much past their early 20s or teens, but he made it to damn near 30. So way to go for you, Sammy. Hopefully you got to grapple before your last day out here on Earth. An update on the Montana rancher we talked about a few months ago. You remember he was in trouble for creating hybrid sheep
Yeah.
that he was going to have.
But he was doing genetic stuff. It wasn't.
Yeah,
just
he was
like-
making like massive, huge sheep so people would come on his
Yeah.
property and shoot them. Well, we have an update on him. He has been sentenced to 6 months in prison after cloning a near-threatened sheep from Asia and selling its offsprings to shooting preserves, according to the documents. Arthur Jack Schlubarth, 81, will spend 6 months in federal prison and a 3-year supervised release, if he makes it that long, and pay a $20,000 fine and $4,000 community service payment for cloning The Marco Polo sheep from Kyrgyzstan. Guy was just trying to have a little fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, well, I said I would keep up with him.
Oh no!
and-
Okay, this reminds me of the cloning thing. This is kind of a strange conversation. Have you seen the new taxi from Tesla?
Yeah, it was. I put it on our social. It's called the Robo Taxi.
Okay, did you know that? Did you read?
Looks
about
like AI gone wrong.
Did
man.
you read about the details of it?
I don't think so.
So like, it's a car that you buy,
I mean, most cars are,
but it's not like a taxi. So like, because when I first started looking, I was like, oh, cool. In certain
but
towns,
it's called a Robo Taxi.
I know.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking to myself, I go, okay, so it's not something like if you go to like a Detroit or something that you're visiting and you can order up your Uber taxi. No, this is a car you buy and it just drives you everywhere. Like you have no option to drive; it just drives you.
Oh, weird.
So you
it's,
buy it.
It's always self-driving.
Yes, it's never at ever.
Interesting.
And so I was thinking how awesome that is if I could live a life where I'd never had to drive again.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
It'd be really strange. And then it got me thinking, what stupid stuff would I do in the car? Like, would I shoot a slingshot at people, at their houses? Like,
Yeah, you got a lot of idle time on your hands now.
Yeah, now I'm like, now I can see the world.
I mean, we kind of made some jokes about that last time. Taking a
Yeah.
taxi on a date, a self-driving car, you're going to get in all kinds of trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have some fun. And I was like, who would buy this? And then immediately I go, I would.
Yep. Wait, I just answered my own question.
I would buy this.
I totally. It looks really weird.
But isn't that odd? I did not know that's what it was. I thought it was like, oh, we're going to introduce it to towns.
Yeah,
Or like,
I guess I didn't really look into it.
yeah, you can buy it.
Other than it looked so weird.
Oh, yeah. But they have to
it
make
looks like it looks like a train car.
They have to make everything look weird, man.
Yeah,
It's like,
it does
why-
not look like a normal passenger vehicle. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, why would you? It's not. It's a taxi, Tesla, whatever. But like, I think that to me, I love those scenarios. Like, imagine me coming to your house in it, and like, oh hey, we forgot to get like a brisket. Let's go to the store. Like, let's take the taxi, and I'm like, get in, and then everyone gets in. And we just starts going, and now we're like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And like, oh, we just
That was fun
sit.
for a second.
Yeah,
and
like,
you just sit here.
you just sit here, and it'll take us to whatever.
It is kind of anticlimactic.
I know.
Woohoo! All aboard the Robo Taxi.
And it's like, ooh.
Cricket, cricket,
Yeah.
cricket.
Now actually,
Well, we're on.
Now we actually should talk to each other. Terrible.
Mutual combat. Hey,
Yeah.
would you like to grapple on the way to the store?
Yeah. No. But no, they're making like 3 different versions of it, and it's got me thinking. I was like,
3 different versions.
yeah, they're doing like the passenger one, which is just like it looks like a couch kind of thing. Like
Okay.
it fits 2 people or 3 people. Like, but
Okay.
you get to fit shoulder to shoulder. There's no like back seat. It's just like one.
Just one long line.
One
it's like
long-
a church pew.
Well, it's more of like
A love seat.
love seat, I guess.
Okay.
And then they're making one like it could fit like 8 people. I think it's like a bus.
That seems excessive.
And then there's a bigger one that's like the van, right? Yeah, van, then a bus. And so there's one that fits like 4, and then there's one that fits 2, one that fits 8.
Yeah, too many options.
And I would get the 8 one for sure.
Of course you would,
And then,
so that you can grapple with
Yeah.
all your buddies on the way to the store.
I didn't tell you. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, buddy. You can't tell me I'm going to love
This
it.
girl, she's selling her car and sends a thing. This guy wanted to smell her seat.
Okay. All right, where are we going?
That's like that happened.
So she's selling a vehicle.
She's selling a
She gets a
vehicle.
response from somebody on the ad, and he asks her if he can
He's like,
sniff the seat.
He legit goes, "Hey, I'm really interested in this car, but
And-
I got to see it first.
I got, yeah,
But I also want to smell the seat."
Well, she needs to charge for that extra sniff.
Well, she did.
yeah,
She
yeah.
goes
$100 bucks for a sniff.
No, she goes, I'll charge you $200 for the seat itself. Like you,
Oh,
you can just
wow.
have the seat.
Oh, that sounds kind of strange because then if she tries to sell a car without a seat, that's
she
going
can
to
just get
probably make it
another seat.
difficult. For less than $200? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Oh yeah, it's an old car.
Okay, maybe
Go to
so.
junkyard. But yeah, and then she'll I mean, I started laughing so hard because that's the kind of stuff you think like AI makes up, but no, this is legit. And then I had this whole new perspective of looking at women, going, man, you guys deal with some crazy stuff. Because if I had a woman saying like, "Can I smell your seat?" I'm like, "Ain't gonna smell good."
Can, if you want, take your life in your own hands, but
Yeah,
go for
it's
it.
like, Ain't gonna smell good. But I figured you would love that. They'd love to hear that. And
Oh, my God.
yeah.
So, Dick, this is a toy/tool that I think you would get hours of enjoyment out of. This is called the Rodinator. Are you familiar with what the Rodinator is? And I think I have a video in
I'm
there.
about to find out.
But the Rodinator dispatches rodents and collapses their tunnel systems by delivering an underground shockwave to simultaneously dispatch burrowing rodents and collapse their tunnels and systems.
because they fill it with gas and then
this
they-
is wicked.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I want you to show the video, but
I am.
basically what this does is, you're right, it fills, I guess you stick this device into one of their into their holes. It fills up with gas, and then it kaboom blows up.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
looks
We're-
awesome. It looks amazing.
Oh, I want to see one actually like with dead animals.
I don't think they show it in the
They
video.
don't. I think I found one. I'm
Yeah.
watching it right now. Look, come on.
As you can see him there, he's
filling-
filling it up
he's
full
filling
of
the
gas,
gas.
or whatever the chemical is. And then I guess he just has a nice little ignition on there.
Come on, buddy. I want to see it. Come on. Blow it for me.
It says to further increase pest control, the company has productivity and the operator comfort. The new R3 pest elimination system adds wired detonation from up to 25 feet and up to 20% more power. I love it.
I think it's fun.
I love it, man. This looks like something you would have a lot of fun doing. Gonna
Oh.
come over your house and blow up your rats.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that you got to take care of the problem.
Yes, right here. It says a wand is inserted into the burrow hole, and a
Gotta take
mixture
care of
of
it, dog.
oxygen and propane gas is shot into the hole for 60 to 90 seconds, depending on the type of animal. Then another button, the fun button, on the wand is pressed, igniting a spark into the mixture, creating a precision underground shockwave. In one fell swoop, the animals are extinguished in the tunnel system, and the hole is collapsed. But I'm thinking, man, wouldn't that kind of stink? I guess because it's all underground, it just kind of holds the stink in there, I guess. I don't know. It just looks like something you would enjoy. All right, quick hit here at the end of the show. A horticulture teacher wins the pumpkin weighing contest with his gigantic gourd. Quote, I really had to work hard for this one. This is kind of weird, but a Minnesota horticulture teacher remained the reigning champion Monday at the annual pumpkin weighing contest in Northern California. To me, it seems like it's not a pumpkin weighing contest. It sounds like it's a pumpkin growing contest, but I digress. Where his massive gourds have won the top prize for 4 years in a row. It seems like he's competing with just himself. Travis Gringer of Anoka, Minnesota, beat his closest competitor by 6 pounds to clinch the victory at the 51st World Championship weigh-offs at Half Moon Bay, Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco. Would you like to take a guess at how large his gourd was?
I would say over 250 pounds.
So close. 2,471 pounds, falling just short of the world record he set last year with his pumpkin weighing 2,749 pounds. That's a lot of gourd. And, of course, they've got like a tractor they're used to pick these things up.
Okay, let's see if I can pull
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I was trying to load it. There it is.
So he's 44 years old, and he said this year he's really been focusing on having healthy soil and well-fed plants, but that a cold fall with record-breaking rain could likely impact his pumpkin's growth. But it didn't. He got it, and he won.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
I like it.
Yep,
Pretty big.
it's pretty big. All right, man, that is all we got time for this week. Thank you, Onesies, for your time and attention and listening to me stumble through trying to read
Yeah.
headlines. Well, the one about the teachers drawing penises, the headline was written very, very strangely, man. It says, teachers and parents defend Fairview teacher accused of
we're
drawing
not reading it.
penises.
I'm
And I just couldn't get that out, man.
Well, Andrew, it was great to see you. I'm glad we got another episode in before you're not here.
I'm actually having second thoughts about it. Maybe let's just erase this one. Can the computer crash real quick?
It almost did, so that's what I was trying to get you.
Okay,
to go.
let's go. Bye.
Bye.